students, no, in blue characters. An outsider who could be writing or could be experimenting, no, with those students. But in the first picture, in the left side, as you can see, the teacher is doing the activity, for example, no, together with the students. So these pictures represent the difference between action research and other types of researches. Generally, no, in our research classes, we introduce the general types of research. No? We have the applied and the basic research. So clearly, the first picture is considered to be under applied research, and the second picture on the right is considered to be under the basic research. So later on, as we go on with our discussions, we'll be able to understand the difference between action research and other types of researches. So in the picture, we can see there, you know, the difference, as I've said, as to the degree of participation. The picture, the teacher is highly participative, highly involved, you know, among her students, while the second one is considered to be an external observer. Okay, next slide, please. Action research. No? So according to Burns, Oja, Smolina, as cited in Sarantacos, action research is the application of fact finding to practical problem solving in a social situation with a view to improving the quality of action within it. Okay, so let's take the keywords there. Application of fact finding. Where? And it is for practical problem. So clearly, when we talk about action research, this is a type of research where we want to solve a practical problem. So, meaning to say, that when you go on with your practice teaching internship, you will be able to observe problems observable within the classroom. And that is a practical problem. We don't want to solve problems of the country. We don't want to solve problems of the community, or let us say a bigger community. We don't want to solve problems of a bigger application of the fact finding to a particular or a practical problem. So when we talk about practicality, diba, it points to, let's say, short term, no? Or in terms of average, it is smaller. No? Practical problem could be described as a small problem. This problem is observable within the classroom. Let's say, no, since we are talking about CBAR here. Okay? So what's the purpose? No? And that is to improve the quality of action within it. Okay? So, why we want to solve that practical problem? Because we wanted to improve something. Or let us say, for example, if you have observed students underperforming, no? if you have observed students um, portraying disruptive behaviors in the class. So what should we do? We need to improve, no, something within our class in order to mitigate, in order to control, no, that practical problem. So that is as simple, no, as how we can define, no, an action research. So later on, as we go on or as we develop, we will be able to see, no, a bigger picture of what action research is all about. Okay, so it also involves collaboration, cooperation of researchers, practitioners, and even laymen. So Dr. Capra mentioned about authorship, no, with the cooperating teacher, and that is a good point because action research, based on the definition, is a collaborative process. It's a cooperative process between you, no, who will be the future researchers, and with the practitioners, the teachers themselves, your cooperating teachers. And sometimes we even involve parents or people in the community who have direct relationship with our students or who have direct contribution to some of the practical that we have observed. So maybe we have that concept, no, on what action research is about. Next slide, please. Mertler to 2013 also said its cyclical nature of systematic investigation of teaching and learning, followed by data-driven improvements resulting from the outcomes of investigations. It was not only a viable but also valuable professional development. So clearly, no, uh, the term improvement is also there. No? So what's the purpose of action research? Why are we conducting action research? To improve the process, or it could be a teaching strategy, or it could be a disruptive behavior. Next is uh, it also provides professional development alternative. So when we talk about professional development, we are talking about training, right? We're talking about webinars, we're talking about seminars. So in what way that contribute to the so-called professional development? In a way, by conducting action research, teachers or you future teachers will be able to gain insights, no, or an understanding on how student behavior work, for example, or how a strategy work. So it adds to your knowledge, adds to your skills on how you would be able to improve, no, the classroom setting, no, considering the practical problem that we want to solve. So this is also a form of a training. This is a form of a training leading to professional development. Next slide, please. Kath, please. Actually, the last one. Okay. Sige. Is it a one size fits all model? No? Because you might be asking, no? So why can what's the beauty? No, what's the beauty of conducting an action research compared to the beauty of conducting? We know for sure that when we do basic research, we want to add knowledge to the literature, no, available literature. We want to improve the concept or understanding of a certain theory, for example, because we want to add knowledge. No? That's why it's basic research. But action research, as we said, is an applied research. No? It's an applied research. So, what is the concept of one size fits all model? Okay, we need to say one solution. Say one solution is being applied to all people, or one solution
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Let us wait for Surgeon Miguel. Nag-run out sa Ilaa, but he will be back. So please be patient and please bear with us. Thank you very much.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. No, I'm back. Okay, so let's go back.
Good evening, sir.
Ma'am, sorry kayo, na-burn out din sa mga karon, no? Sorry kayo. Okay, so let's go. So, okay, one size fits all model. One size fits all model, as I have made mention a while ago, points to the idea that sometimes we offer solutions that are applicable to all, no? Regardless of the context, regardless of their conditions. Let us say, for example, we were sent to trainings and seminars, and that training or seminar is presented, no, in general context. So, di ba, not all of us will be able to learn, no, equally, because we have different circumstances, no? We have different abilities or capacities. So, in other words, trainings or seminars sometimes would not be effective because some of us would not consider it as applicable to their field or applicable to their context. And that is the concept of one size fits all model, and it defeats the purpose of individual uniqueness. There are, for example, memoranda sent to certain units in an institution to be implemented by all. For example, by all units, regardless of the campus. Sometimes the memoranda are not applicable. Some would have a negative take on the memoranda because the memoranda are not applicable in the context. And that is the so-called one size fits all model. But action research sees it differently because research wants to solve practical problem. And when we talk about practical problem, this is a problem that is existing within your reach, for example, within your classroom or within the community. The solutions generated from action research will not be applied generally to all the population or the entire population rather. It will not be applied to the general public because the idea there is that a solution cannot always be effective in all situations because solutions or the effectiveness of solution depends on the context where it will be applied. That is the beauty of action research because we want to improve something in the classroom, and that classroom is an environment where we work. So, we need to say we would be able to respond to the problem per se, meaning what is to be the problem in your classroom or within the classroom. So we would be able to respond to the problem itself. Okay? So that works in simple way we would be able to attain our specific objectives. Before, action research is usually conducted for professional development of teachers. Just like, for example, teachers were sent to trainings, and their capabilities or competencies are being measured to the training and after the training, and to see whether there's a difference in their performance. And that is part of their professional development. But here in the C-bar that we are talking or discussing, will be focusing on students' learning. Our main focus why we want to conduct action research is for our students to learn. This is not only for our professional development, but our main focus here is for the benefit of our students and for them to learn. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so there are generally 4 characteristics of an action research. We have one is that it is situational. It is situational in the sense that we want to solve a practical problem within our context or within the situation of our classroom. That's why it is called situational. Situational because we are the ones who define the problem. It is not the external researcher, not just like in the picture, katong sa right ganiya sa picture. It is not an external researcher who will be identifying the problem. Just like in the sense that, for example, kita may makahibalo sa inyong problema o maayo. Alangan ako, Siyempre, kamo jud mismo, usually has a better understanding of your own problem. That is why it's situational. So who would have a better understanding on how our students perform in the class? It's you, the teacher. Kamo mismo nakahibalo kung sa problema within your classroom. That's why it's situational. Next, it is also collaborative. Why is it collaborative? It's collaborative because you will be working with your cooperating teacher. Sometimes you would also be working with your principal, no? With your colleagues, no? Especially that last time is by group. No, what's the policy now? It could be working with your colleague. It's collaborative. Not only the practitioners, not just like your operating teacher or the principal. Sometimes you are also working with your students. No? You also involve your students, no, sometimes. That's why it's collaborative. The third one is participatory. So this is where action research as an applied type of research differs from other types of research, just like basic research, longitudinal research, and the rest. Because this is participatory. What does it mean when it is participatory? Meaning to say you are highly involved in the research process. You are a researcher, you identify the problem and the situation, and you offer a solution. Pero ikaw mismo as a teacher or as a student teacher would implement the solution to the problem. And you also do the reflection whether or not the solution you have provided is effective. No? So that is the so-called participatory. No? Unlike in basic research, that you are external, no, you are external to the situation. The idea there is that you want to be objective. You don't want to put biases, for example. So, external researcher, you distribute questionnaire, no, you interview people, no, and that's it. You want to find their level of knowledge, and that's it. But in participatory, no, in action research, which is participatory, you are involved in the entire process of research, and you don't only have to define, no, the problem. You don't only have to distribute questionnaire, but you also become part, no, of the implementation of a solution, and as well as on the reflection, no, part, no, whether or not the solution is effective. And the last one is self-evaluative. What does it mean when you say self-evaluative? Self-evaluative because um, uh, when you conduct, no, the action research, you constantly evaluate. No, you constantly evaluate the progress of your research. You also evaluate whether the solution has a positive influence on their behavior or has a positive effect in terms of their academic performance. So you constantly evaluate. Sometimes, no, there are cases like, for example, no, when you present the solution and you have observed that students did not get properly your instructions, so they were not able to understand you better. So sometimes there you made some of the adjustments, no, in the makatawag po siyang self-evaluative, no? It's self-evaluative as well because you would be able also to evaluate yourself as a teacher or as a student teacher. Next slide, please. Okay. Action research also challenges a scientific method of inquiry based on the author of the outside observer and the independent experimenter. This is what I am discussing. No, nga, unlike basic research, in action research, you are not an outside observer because you are also a participant, no, of the process. You are not an independent experimenter because you are the implementer, no, of the solution, no, something that you want to enhance, no, in the classroom. So this is different, no, when you talk about action research. It's different from the positivist perspective. No, positivist meaning to say, as a researcher, you want to gather the data, you want to analyze the data, and you want to interpret the data and give the results. But here, action research is different. No, you don't act as an outside observer and you don't act as an independent experimenter. No, that is why it claims to reconstruct both practical expertise and theoretical insight on a different basis of its own inquiry procedures. So we can say that in conducting action research, there's a sort of flexibility, no? Because we are not strictly guided by the theories. na kung mao ni variable mao ra gyud na nga atong i-measure, no? If these are the steps, then mao ra na atong sundot. There's a sort of flexibility, no? So flexibility. Because nag-implement tag solutions, and if we found that there are doon mga palpak sa pag-implement sa solution, kay naklarong instructions, wa nakaget ang bata, or we were not able to get the desired data nga atong gikinahanglan, so we made adjustments, no? We will make adjustments rather, no? Rather than compared to a quantitative, no, basic research. Very strict siya. Kung wala gingon sa theory nga you don't need to measure that variable, you don't need to measure that. Action research, not a sort of flexibility. Next slide, please. Okay. So it is more likely to be guided by critical, Marxist, or feminist principles than positivist principles and standards. Okay, let me explain this one. Di ba in basic research, for example, if we want to know the level of knowledge of our students in terms of comprehensive sexuality education, what do? We gather the data and we produce and we present the results. And the result would say, for example, like majority of our students lack or have have low level of knowledge in terms of comprehensive sexuality education. But you have high level of knowledge. Or how many of our students, to survey how many of our students let us say possess creative skills, and we want to present in percentage. For example, 60% do not possess creative skills, only 40% possess creative skills. That is basic research, right? That is basic research. We give the knowledge, we contribute that knowledge to the existing literature. But action research is different. Why is it that action research is guided by the critical? Critical because we want to know if there are inequalities in our classrooms. Marxist, di ba Marxist, it talks about the conflict between those who haves and those who have nots, no? The bourgeoisie and the proletariats. When we talk about feminists, we talk about that women are, let's say, they said women considered as weaker compared to men. So this is related to gender and development, no, programs. That's why we want to make women equal to men, because we see inequalities in our society. So my point here is that action research is not only limited to giving data as to the number of those who are rich and those who are poor, those who are performing well and not performing well in the class. So action research is focusing on solving the inequality. It is more likely to be guided by critical Marxist or feminists because the aim here is equality and less equality in the classroom. Kaya nga di ba, we want to solve problem and we were able to observe, for example, may makasabot akong klase compared sa mga wala sabot, no? Gamay rin makasabot akong klase. So, looking into the critical or Marxist perspective, gusto buhaton is that all of them would be able to understand our class, no? Would be able to perform better in the class. We want to have access to better services. For example, no? We want our students to experience quality education. No? Dili na kaya pipila lang estudyante ang maka-experience. That's one of the purposes of action research. We want to implement equality. Right? That's why it is guided by critical and Marxist or feminist. It's very self-fulfilling if we were able to observe later on that our students or the performance of our students improve because of the solutions that we offer to them. No? So next slide, please. So in what way do model use the action research follow the same steps with other types of research? Ato pa ay sir lahi gud ng action research, no? So dili gud ay siya pareho ng mga highly guided or strict na research that's like basic research. This is still research. Although it uses a different problem. No? But action research is still research because it also uses process or similar process that other types such as the following. No, next slide, please. Let's say, for example, in action research, also do preparation. Just like in any other types of researches, they also do the preparation. The researcher will begin with the process and definition of the topic. Basic research, longitudinal, they started or a problem because all researches start with a problem. No, that is where the wheel will start. Dili mo tuyok na so all types of researches no begin with the choice or definition or operationalization. And all types of operationalization. What is operationalization? First is that after we have we do the operationalization. We think with data, or how would I measure the variable rather, or how would I gather the data? I need do I need a quantitative data? That is operationalization. How would you measure performance, academic performance, using the general average or observation technique? No, you instead describe how the students general average grade. No, when you craft the action research, no, una-una daan ninyo, how are you going to how are you going to gather the data? How are you going to measure certain variables? That is part of the operationalization. Part na siya daan ninyo. Una-una na siya daan. Okay, next slide please. Okay, research design. Just like action research, it has also research design. So we point here to research design as the sampling and methods. We talk about sampling, we talk about how many will be involved in the study. Will it be the entire population in the community, or will it only be a part of it? Are we going to include the entire students of the school, or are we going to focus only among our in the class as part of the sampling? We also need to consider whether kaya ba nato no in your sample size, your the size or the number of your respondents or participants. So in similar fashion, the methods employed by researchers are the same as those employed by investigators. There are also steps to be followed. No, that is part of the methods. There are also steps to be followed as to how are we going to answer each research question. Designs action research. Okay, next slide, please. Action research is not different with other researches, no? In terms of the model that you use, because action research has also data types of researches. So let us read here, no? Research is the same as in other. Action research supports higher degree of respondent in basic research, for example, quantitative research. The participation of the respondents is only questionnaire. Okay. In qualitative research, the participation is during the interview and during the validation formulated about the data. Kay ipakita pa man nato na balik sa atong mga participants kung sakto ba mo experiences. That's part of the collection. However, action research degree of respondent participation. No? Combination of those. Dili questionnaire, sometimes the interview, no? Ikaw po mismo, no? Focus research because you will be the solution. Sometimes, no? Focus group discussion, interviewin mo sila usahay po privately. So, participation. Action research. Okay, data analysis, just like other types of research, data analysis. So action research will use methods to identify and to justify conclusions per. So just like any other types of researches, in action research, we use an appropriate method, no, in order for us to gather the data that we're going to read. And we also have conclusions, no, that will be based on the findings or the results of our study. Next slide, please. Okay, reporting. Action research, the results of action research will not end in the classroom. Will not end in your FS. There's also reporting. Just like any other types of researches, pwede mo na siya i-publish. Okay? Musunod lang ka sa format nga gi-require sa journal. So you can also report the results of the action research. What else? Action researchers, however, this is the addition. Action researchers will make an effort to bring the findings to the attention of the authorities and make sure that they are implemented. This is the duty of action research. Once you're done and you found out that it's effective, the solution to improve the performance of our students is effective, no? So you present the results to the principal, to the division office, and that is to make sure, no, that your solution will be implemented or will be replicated to classrooms or to among students who have also similar context with your students. That is an additional way of reporting the results of the action research. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so as you can see, this is the cycle of the action research. So maybe you would not be able to appreciate yet how to conduct action research until we will be able to reach the slide about the example about sample action research. So as you can see on the screen, this is action research because this is a research in action. As you can see in the cycle 1, first stage is planning. We discussed that already. That is part of the preparation. Second stage is acting, meaning that you will now be implementing the solution. Third stage is developing. You now have now the data. You now develop whether or not the solution is so let's say is moving along your desired plan or nanabasay desired results nga makita nimo. Then the last one, stage 4, is reflecting. You reflect based on the data that you have gathered whether yung solution ba sa classroom is effective or not. So ni-reflect ka. So if you found that your solution is not that effective, then you go back to planning. You plan again. For example, you plan again how to improve or innovate the solution that you have given. Or mag-research sa literature basig na pay laing solution based on the problem nga imong na-observe sa classroom. So imo na po na say, mato na po kabalik sa stage 2, acting na po siya. Then adto na po ka sa stage 3, developing, and the last one is reflecting again. So if still you were not able to solve the problem, then you go back again to stage 1. You plan again. And that is the cycle of action research. Why do you do the action research? You want to improve something or you want to solve a practical problem. So did you come until such problem will be solved. So that's the action research. It's a cycle. Tuyok-tuyok. Next slide, please. Okay. So, ganiha, no, in the first or the earlier slide, I have presented to you the template, no, from the DepEd. But now, no, we added certain parts so that it will be clear, no. Let us say context and rationale. We already included the innovation and the proposed intervention, no. Later on, at example, ana. The next to be followed by the action research questions. Action research questions. This section is also similar with the statement of the problem. Okay. The third part is the research design. No? Ang research design, if you can still remember, this is chapter 3 of your thesis. Okay? So, under sa research design, atong gidugang di ang steps in doing the action research. That's the planning, acting, developing, and reflecting. Anong idugang pa man mo, sir, no? The purpose there is to really see, no? To really see whether you know how to conduct it. No? Makita pa nato ang details sa inyong okay na siya kung professional or let us say no may na kayong mga researchers for example may there's to I'm talking to the students no kung hanas na kayo sa research for example so pwede nato na i-general na but here to see no for as well as for our chairpersons to see whether or not you are in the right track no before you're going to conduct your action research mo na atong idugang ang steps no in action research. Okay. Next, we also have here participants. To clear this one, participants, the term participant is usually used for qualitative researches. No? So meaning to say, later on, ko, mag-interview ko. So you use the term participant. But if kanang imong gusto is kanang mura kag quasi-experimental, kana bitang doon na kay exam, no? Magpa-test kasi mo estudyante, magkuha ka silang score sa mathematics or mag-score ka sa English, for example, in a multiple choice test, tanawon mo ilang score sa multiple type of test, then nag-implement kag solution, then i-retest na sila nimo, tanawon nimo kung na-improve lang instead of participants, no? So we must be, we must know those simple terms, no? Participants and respondents of the study. The next part is data gathering methods, and the next is data analysis. Then we also included the ethical considerations, no? Maybe that is also one of the concerns of Dr. Perla ganiha, no? But we already included that one, no, in the part of the action research. Ethical considerations. Although in the DepEd memorandum, wala na nila emphasize ang ethical considerations. Sa ato we will emphasize the ethical considerations lang yun, no? Para safe tayo. You know, we will be dealing with students, mga minors na mga students nato, especially mga pupils. So we really need to ask the permission of the parents na mag-conduct ani atong research, no? And that is to protect them as well, no? That is ethical considerations. The next one is action research work plan, cost estimates, no? Plans for dissemination, and the references. This is the proposal format, no? Pero later on atong tiwason taman sa discussions and presentations. Okay, next slide please. Okay. So let us say, for example, no, this is an example that we have adapted from the study of Wang Di and Namiel. Okay, their study is about classroom to reduce student disruptive behavior and action research. Okay, but I have a note here so that we will not be confused, no, as to what is this study about. Okay, momongit lang title, no, but when I have read, no, their paper is about using. It's about using seating arrangements to reduce student disruptive behavior in an English as a foreign language classroom. Because the authors believe, or the researchers believe, that when you set up no a better seating arrangement, ma-reduce the ang disruptive behavior sa bata. So they want to try no the solution of rearranging the seating arrangement or the arrangement of the seats in order to reduce no or to control the disruptive behavior. Kay kung unsa mga klase sa seating arrangement andun na ka sa classroom, doon na daw na siya influence sa disruptive behavior ng ipakita sa bata. That is one of their assumptions. Next slide please. Okay. In the DepEd memorandum order that we have presented, no, under context and rationality, they said, this is their rubric. Ano yung rubric ang gigamit nila before nila i-approve ang action research sa usa ka teacher. So they said, then under context and rationality, it was stated there, the nature, extent, and salience of the identified problem or issues are comprehensively discussed. Different aspects of the action research setting are elaborated, showing in-depth and critical analysis of the situation. What does it mean? It means to say that when we read your action research, no, in the context and rationality part, the problem is clearly stated there. No? Unsa ang practical problem nga may imong isolve. Okay? How are we going to write that part? No, later on, makita na to sa example. The next one, the rationale, extent, and limitation of the intervention, innovation, or strategy are also explained in detail. So its plausibility as a way to address the problem or issue is also given support. So makita na to diri sa part sa context and rationale is number one, first part is the problem itself. What is the problem all about? The last part will be the second part will be rationale. Why do we want to solve the problem? So we always have the reasons behind nga no mangyud sulbaro na sa problema ha. The last part will be our intervention. Meaning this is our proposal. How are we going to solve, no, the problem? What solution do we have in mind? Okay, so let's now move to the example for clarity. Okay, this is an example. Take a look at the red text there. That is general context of the problem. Okay, meaning to say, mura po tag funnel type ba, no? Sa pag-present po na niya itong part sa context and rationale, pareho sa itong thesis, we started with the general description, no? Global context. Then we move now to our local context. So pare-pareho ra po ni siya, no? Similar siya. Let us say, it is stated here, disruptive behavior in classrooms is a significant challenge that affects both teaching and learning. Meaning to say, you're talking about the general problem. No? Global problem, ganyan siyang disruptive behavior, global. It impedes the instructional process and negatively impacts the classroom environment. Who said that? So doon na kay citation dapat. Dili ka dapat magtumo-tumo, no? Usay ra ba mo, ano ra ba ta, ingon ta nga mag-chat GPT ra mi sir, mag-AI ra mi sir sa paggama sa problem sir. Ang pangutana, sakto ba ang gibutang ni ChatGPT nga citation? I-check po ninyo, no? Okay raman mo gamit mo anang ChatGPT ba? Okay raman gyud. Pero make sure nga ang gi-cite nga reference ni ChatGPT ni-exist gyud nga tawo. Example si Gomez, wala day na siya nag-exist kay tumo ra na siya sa AI. So siguraduon nato nga ni-exist gyud na pud na siya, no? Although I'm not telling you nga di gyud mo gamit AI because naa naman ang AI alangan na to i-delete na, di man na pwede. We need now to make use of AI capabilities to help us craft as well, no, our paper. Pwede raman guna sa example, no, if you have a PDF file, no, about problems nga imong gusto isulbaron, isangal nimo na siya dito sa ChatGPT, upload nimo na, ngayon din ka, please discuss to us the main problem of the paper, or discuss gina niya. So at least you have the idea what is the problem all about. Okay, that is the general because you are looking at the global context, no? In continuation, disruptive behaviors such as talking out of turn, moving around the classroom, and ignoring classroom rules are prevalent concerns for teachers globally. Okay, general context na siya. Let's now proceed to the local context. Next slide, please. Okay, this is now the local context of the problem. Okay, this is now specific to the school. The researchers stated here, in Bhutan, no, this in your part dito na sin yung classroom po, no, asa mo na assign. In Bhutan, where many schools use English as the medium of instruction, students' English proficiency greatly impacts their behavior. At the Jensimo Central School, students face challenges with English as a foreign language, leading to disengagement and disruptive behavior. You see, the problem now is observed in that school, particularly. That is a practical problem. Okay, let's continue. Especially among younger students who struggle with the language. Bhutan's educational environment features large class sizes, complicating classroom management and individualized attention. So, doon na ra siya doon na ra siya supporting citation. Pero sa inyo nga part pananglitan, sir, sa mga part sir kay base man sa akong observation, no? O isulat diyan na unsa may naobserbahan nimo nga problem sa imong classroom. Isulat diyan na. That is the local context of the problem. Kung doon ay report si principal or there are previously conducted researches or action researches, for example, pwede po na siya idugang diyan to support the existence of the problem. Okay? That's the part of the local. That is part of the context of the problem. Let's now move to the next slide. Next slide, please. Okay. The rationale. So, ang atong problema is this disruptive behavior. No? Then, gumikan ng posible, no? Disla kasabot sa English as a foreign language. No? So, ang atong focus specifically is to reduce the disruptive behaviors. Okay. What is our rationale? Why do we need to conduct this? Okay. Nga naman. You stated here, the author stated here. Given these challenges, there is a critical need for effective classroom management strategies to reduce disruptive behaviors and enhance students' engagement and EFL classrooms. Dagan man disruptive behavior, di na kayo mo engage sa EFL classroom, no? So although various strategies have been explored globally, research on their application in Bhutan's educational context is limited. The study aims to address this gap by investigating the effectiveness of seating arrangements as a strategy for managing disruptive behavior in Bhutanese EFL classroom. Sir, pangutana. Sa rational, sir, ano doon naman tayong mga citations di ana? Dili dai pwede nga mohatag ratag solutions ato Pwede ta mohatag solutions ato no? Pero in the available literature, no, in the internet or asa mo mangitag literature, na naman goy mga specific solutions na gipang provide ang various authors, no. But as I have said, in action research, we are focusing on the particular problem. And we don't know whether or not ang solutions nga gihatag sa other researchers is effective ba diri sa tuang classroom context, no? So, to test that one, mo na nga tong gamiton siya sa tong classroom to test whether effective ba na siya or dili pod. Why do we have citations? Kay siyempre sa, because of limitations in our experiences sometimes, dili pud ta we could not give a plausible solution to the problem. Say kulang tag experience makahatag ba gyud tag problem diretsoan ang problema ha, do na ba tay better solution? So, reading the literature would give us better idea on how to solve the problem. So, mo nandoon na tay mga citations diri. So, as I have said, magamit man gid mo AI, mo man gid na, no? Mo research mo mga solutions. Then patapang mo sa AI, you allow AI to analyze the files, no? You chat there, no? Please help me digest the paper, no? What solution is being given here? How about in the other papers, for example? So you would have a list of solutions given based on the literature. Makatabang mo na, pero kung gusto mo kamugi basa, much better, no? So muna, we read literature in order for us to be given the idea on how to solve the problem. That is part, no? That is part of the rationale. Next slide, please. Okay, this is now the interventions or innovations. How are you going now to solve the problem? Okay, you said the author stated here. The intervention involves regularly changing seating arrangements. There's a regular change in the seating arrangement to manage and reduce disruptive behaviors. Research supports the idea that seating arrangements can influence student behavior, engagement, and academic performance. By experimenting whether different configurations, this study seeks to find an effective approach to improving classroom dynamics and reducing disruptions among 7th grade students. Okay, so this is now part of the intervention. This is now your solution. No? How are you going to solve the problem? Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so Okay, that's it. Okay, that's it. Now, so here, the next part is research question. No, research questions. That's the next section. So later on, we will also entertain questions. No, tapos tiwaso na nato ni siya. So the first section ganiya is about context and rationality. The second part will be action research questions. So this is the problem part. No, usually ang ato arabang way of presenting the problem. This is also similar with our statement of the problem. No, usually ra ba ang atong pagka-state sa statement of the problem kami nga tag this study aim to technically that is an objective, right? This study aim to, but technically when you say statement of the problem, you should state what is the problem per se. Unsa gyud problema di ay? You should not state the general objective, just like the study aim to. No? So as you can see here, this is a simple way of presenting what the problem frequently exhibit disruptive behaviors that hinder learning and challenge classroom management. This study investigated whether changing seating arrangements can reduce these disruptive behaviors and enhance the classroom environment. So you see, klaro kayo, no, as to what the problem is all about. Klaro kayo si problema ng paper nga gusto isulbarong, klaro kayo. It's very clear. So in your paper po sa CBAR, you just state there, no, what's the problem that you want to investigate. Okay? So that we will have a connection with the following questions, no? Hence, this study is to answer the following questions. Okay? So next slide, please. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, these are the specific questions. Makita na to sa number 1. What are the most common disruptive behaviors exhibited by the 7th grade EFL students in the classroom? Ang unang pangutana sa researchers kana. So if you want to answer that one, unsay gusto na mahitabo, you just want to know kung unsa ang pinaka-frequent nga disruptive behaviors nga ipakita sa 7th grade. So, pwede din na siya ma-question, sir? Pwede. Okay? Next question. Can the implementation of seating arrangement changes can the implementation of seating arrangement changes reduce these disruptive behaviors? This is now where you want to know the effectiveness of the solution. Okay? So, muna imong question. You want to know whether or not the effective ang solution. So, iyang question, sir, kay Kahneman, no? Can the implementation of seating arrangement changes reduce this disruptive behavior? Di ba ang answer, Anna, is yes or no? Yes or no? Kahneman, no? Can it? Yes. Can it not? Di ba? So, yes or no ang answer, Anna. But, later on, we will be able to see yun sa napagtubag sa researchers. No? Pwede na siya ipangutana. Clearly, kung inana itong pangutana, we are not focusing on quantitative results, but it is more on qualitative. Di ba ang common na to nga makita sa mga thesis na to is there a significant difference, no, between the score of the students prior, no, and after the implementation of the strategy? So inana po ng imong klase sa question, kato siya quantitative na siya, no? Doon na kay statistical tool nga gamiton na. Let us say t-test ba imong gamiton because you want to compare the scores, you want to compare the figures or the value. In that case, ay imong focus is kanang gitawag nila nga quasi-experimental. Quasi, that is not a true experiment. No? Mura na siya shadow or nasa certain characteristics of an experiment. So, kasi kung gusto mo i-compare ang score sa bata prior sa imo ang strategy o after sa implementation sa strategy, so kana siya quantitative na siyang method, no? Meaning mo gamit sa experimental, mo gamit kag t-test ng statistical tool. Pero dili sa iyang research question number 2, kana naman can the implementation of seating arrangement. So you can expect na dili siya mo gamit og statistics, mo gamit sa explanation. Okay? Quali siya. So, meaning to say, sa action research, pwede ka mo gamit o quali. no nga approach, pwede po kamo gamit o quantitative. Nananan ninyo. Pwede po no mag-combination ta. Okay, pwede na ninyo. Third question. What are the students' perceptions of disruptive behaviors and their impact on learning in the classroom? Kini klaro jud kaayo nga qualitative ang researcher nga answer ani. Okay? Next slide please. Okay. The next part is the research design. So research design is a systematic plan outlining how the study will be conducted to address a specific problem or question in a practical context. Meaning to say, sa research design, ang research design, lahi siya sa gitawag na research method. Sa research design, you will be discussing here how you are going to answer the first question, second question, up to the last question. So guided ang reader kung saan mo pag-deal ang problem. No? That's the part of the research design. That is different from the research method. Although some researchers will use research design and research method interchangeably. Okay, so let's proceed to the next slide. Okay, so still in the research design, we are going to use the stages, no, in the action research. Next slide, please. Okay, so example, no, based on the paper, this study employed a classroom-based action research design. So, ang classroom-based research design, katutong ganyan sa cycle, mo design niya, no? A reflective process that allows educators to investigate and improve their teaching practices. Research followed a modified version of Lewin's action research model, incorporating 4 cycles: planning, acting, observing, and reflecting. Muna ni siya ang part dito sa cycle nga itong ipakita ganyan sa figure. Sir, kinsa man si Lewin? Lewin is considered to be the pioneer of action research. Usually siya kuno nagsugod-sugod aning action research. Okay, so let's proceed to research specific details of research design in the next slide. Okay, first part, planning. Ilatag din sa estudyante. Planning, makita na din sa mga researcher persons or the instructors buhaton sa estudyante sa planning. Okay. The students will state there, for example, just like sa mga researchers. The researchers reviewed existing literature on disruptive behaviors in the classrooms and identify seating arrangement as a potential intervention strategy. Specific objectives were set to observe and reduce disruptive behaviors through seating arrangement changes. So meaning to say, before pa mo solutions, mo na inyong gibuhat, nagbasa sa mo literature sa mga solutions sa other countries or other schools with regard to similar problem about disruptive behavior. So nagbasa mo, that's part of the planning stage. Next part. Next slide, please. Okay. The next one is acting. Sige, buhat sa researcher, step 1. What did they do, no? Or the implementation part. Step 1. The researchers observed 2 EFL classes over 1 month, that is 8 sessions, to identify the most common disruptive behaviors before implementing any intervention. So you see, so nag-identify data. Baseline. Over 3 months, the researchers implemented the seating arrangement intervention by changing seating configurations weekly. So nana sila baseline data sa step 1. Sa step 2 kuno ilang gibuhat is i-implement na gyud sila sa seating arrangement for 3 months. Next slide please. Observing. Unsa may gibuhat nimo ana? No? That is now part of the data gathering. Disruptive behaviors were recorded using checklists during both the pre-intervention and post-intervention phases. So may doon na tayo checklist ng mga researchers na nila din i-check kung saan nang ilang naobserbahan nga disruptive behavior. Example, roaming around, check siya. Or let us say, talking to seatmates, check po siya. So nag-checklist sila. We know for sure that we already discussed in some of our classes on checklist. Checklist means checklist is an instrument to know the absence or presence of a behavior. After the intervention, semi-structured interviews were conducted with 10 students to explore their perceptions of disruptive behaviors and eliciting management strategy. So after gathering the data about the occurrence of disruptive behaviors, do na sila interview nga gi-conduct. Okay, next slide please. Okay, reflecting. Reflecting. The researchers analyze the observational data and interview responses to assess the effectiveness of the seating arrangement changes in reducing disruptive behaviors. So sa reflecting now, this is now your part of looking into the data, no? So ang observational data nimo katong checklist, pila ka buok ang mga disruptive behavior nga naobserbahan nimo ug kung unsa ka kanunay na siya nahitabo. Sa interview, imong i-assess ang responses kung sa ilang interview ba na para nila na-reduce ba ang disruptive behavior or wala. No? Next part of reflecting is that the findings to refine the intervention and make recommendations for future classroom management practices. Okay, this is the reflecting. This is the reflection part. You will now reflect whether or not the solution is effective. If effective siya, so it will be adapted, no, for future implementation. But if ang iyang design. Next part, next slide please. Okay, participants. Participants atong gigamit kay nag-qualitative man siya, no? As we said, kung mag-quantitative mo mga methods inyong gamiton, then you go with respondents. Okay. You see here, you will be discussing the details of your target participants. Kinsa na sila? Even the rationale for their inclusion in the study. Nganong sa kadaghang mga estudyante sila man. It could be like ang imong rason mo may ako ang class advisory, so hindi ako nag-conduct sa study. So, acceptable na siyang reason. Kaya man mo nakita ang problem, no? So let's now move to the example in the next slide. Okay. The study here involved 32 grade students from Dicensimo Central School, aged 12 to 14, including 20 males and female students. These students were enrolled in an English communication course, making them directly relevant to the research focus on EFL classroom management. So, ang rason niya, anong sila, kay enrolled man sila sa English communication. And ang disruptive behavior kinakita dito sa subject na related sa English as a foreign language. So sa inyo kung pangutanon mo, anong sila man mga participants, one of the reasons is definitely sila may akong advisory class and the problem were observed among them. So that's part. Okay? So that's another section, no, under the research design. The next slide will also data gathering method. So very clear na dire, no? Dito sa planning stage kaniya makita na nato unsa siya pag-gather. Pero dire mas klaro, no? So the data gathering method according to the DepEd memorandum order should explain why the selected data gathering method is suited to the nature and purpose of action research. The data gathering method is aligned with the research questions, as well as the research instruments, if there are any, are appropriate for obtaining the desired kind of data or information. So there is a data gathering method, makita nato po, no, sa mga instructors na mo check whether or not the instrument is suitable in answering the research questions. So, in our research class before, research instruments can be a questionnaire. So, if you are going to use the questionnaire, you must also clearly state whether ang questionnaire ba is a standardized questionnaire or kamura ba ni gamasa questionnaire or researcher made. So, definitely, if researcher made an instrument, you need to pass the validation process. Just like in any other or in the previous research that we have, if your questionnaire is researcher made, you need to submit the instrument that you made to the experts. So karon, sir, mo adto na pud may expert. Magbayad mi ani sa expert mo basa sa mong questionnaire. Okay. Kinsa man na pwede mahimo na tong expert sana. So, hayuon nimo ang imong, let us say, cooperating teacher or cooperating teacher sa imong classmate or ka mga master teacher nga nasa school, no? or kung nakaadto ka sa supervisor, that they can serve as the experts. You allow them, you request them, no? You ask their time to check, no, your questionnaire. That is part of the validation. Then human ana, napatay gitawag ang mga pilot testing, no? Pero naman is good nga process, no? If you can still remember your class before. Sa validation, it checks sa expert na inyong contents in yung paper as an instrument. Then reliability testing. Pero kung multiple choice test na siya, di ba? I-pilot test na siya nato. Then moagi tag gitawag katubitang magkuha tag index of difficulty o index of discrimination to know whether or not asa nga mga items sa multiple choice test ang atong tantangon i-revise. You try to review ang inyong class dito sa assessment, no? Ay kayo mo na sa part sa assessment na ana isa dito. Okay. We're going so if you need to explain here whether or not you are for a structured interview guide, and then who will be checking your interview guide. So you also need to state it. Experts will be reviewing your interview guide, just like the master teacher in the school, the principal in the school, or any other expert in the school. In JRMSU, you expert from JRMSU. Okay, let's now move to the example on the next slide. Okay, so the researcher here stated data were collected through naturalistic observations and semi-structured interviews. So, klaro siya, no? Considering the problems and specific questions of the study, observations and interviews are appropriate compared with a questionnaire. So, kato na siya ganiha, no? Nasa guide sa DepEd. We need to specify nga nung kanaman ang data collection method because they are appropriate, no? Compared with the questionnaire. Next, the observation and semi-structured the observation and semi-structured interview guide were submitted to experts for validation. Observations were conducted over 16 weeks to specify na to the scope, the coverage, no, kano sa nato gi-conduct, no, ang the time element kano sa gi-conduct. Using the checklist to document the frequency and the types of disruptive behaviors before and after the intervention. Okay, please. Okay. Post-intervention, just like semi-structured interviews were also conducted, no, with 10 students to explore their perceptions of disruptive behavior and the effectiveness of the seating arrangement. So after niya makakuha ang observation of interview, doon na pa siya ilaing interview kining post-intervention. Post-intervention interview, nakuha na sa pulo and interview them whether or not para sa mga estudyante effective ang seating arrangement, no? Para nila unsa ng disruptive behavior. Okay, so that is part of their data gathering method. Next slide, please. Okay. The next part is the data analysis plan. How are you going to present the data and how are you going to analyze the data that you will be gathering? So clearly, kung quantitative, doon na tayo mga gatawag ng mga statistical tools or treatments implemented. So ato po siya i-discuss diri, no? Kung sa nga mga tools ang gamiton, kung asa siya gamiton sa pagkuha percentage, mean, for example, or scores. So, based on the guidelines sa DepEd, ingon diri nila that the selected method of data analysis is shown to be appropriate to the nature of the data, information to be gathered, and for addressing the research question. So, dapat clear na siya, appropriate. So, kung mag-qualitative mag-interview mo, imo po i-discuss kung saan mo pag-present o analyze ng data. So, usually, sa qualitative, doon na tayo gitawag ng content analysis, doon na po tayo gitawag ng mga thematic analysis. So, katong nagkanda o qualitative research before, kabalo mo ana, kung saan pagkama o codes, pag-code, kung saan pagkama sa categories, then later on, pagkama sa themes. No? So, kung para nimo dili ka kampante ana, then you go with the quantitative, no, katong mag-compare ka sa scores before and after the implementation of the solution. Pero kung sa qualitative ka, then you go with pre-observation or the baseline data, and then post-observation, or that means to say after the implementation of the solution you observe, you interview or you conduct a focus group discussion. Okay, so let's proceed to the example on the next slide. Okay, here, okay, this is the presentation of the researchers. The observational data were analyzed and percentage was calculated as to students exhibiting behaviors before and after the intervention. So nakita nato nga yang i-compare kung pila ka percent sa disruptive behavior ang gipakita before and after the intervention. The data from the semi-structured interviews were transcribed, coded, and analyzed thematically to identify recurring patterns and themes in students' perception of disruptive behavior. This is now the part of the qualitative data. Next, the pre- and post-intervention data were compared to test the effectiveness of the seating arrangement strategy in reducing disruptive behavior. So makita na to, that is how the researchers analyze the data, quantitative and the qualitative data. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. There's also the so-called ethical considerations. Paano mga ethical considerations man ta, sir? As I have said, that is to protect you, and that is also to protect your respondents or participants. Kinahanglan na siya, no? Ethical considerations. Part ones, manangit ka sa school principal, depende sa division, conduct og research among their students. Part na siya sa mga protocols, no? So we have the so-called research-student relationship na i-consider. Okay. As part of the ethical standards, there must be proper identification. So you should identify yourself as a teacher at the same time as a researcher. Klaro na siya dapat sa mga estudyante na to. Klaro po dapat kinsa nga tong respondents, no? Or kinsa tong participants. That is proper identification. Next, clear outset. Some na clear outset. Before the conduct of the research, you should explain among your participants or students the purpose of your paper or the purpose of your research or the objectives. Dapat klaro na siya, no? O say tumong din ninyo. Let us say, our main purpose here is to improve your performance, no? To give solutions to the problems. And as well as you need to state what the study is all about. That is clear outset. Klaro dapat siya. Next, welfare of the respondents. Meaning to say, you make sure that no harm will be inflicted among our students. Wala estudyante nga mamubo grado, gumikan nga siya na i-participate. Estudyante nga nag-uol, gumikan nga ayang score no, mubo, no? Ato klaro na dapat, no? Because we want welfare, no? We want to protect the welfare of our respondents. Walay ano dito, no? Salata say, no? Physically hurt, no? Because of our research. Dapat wala. Next, we should also consider free informed consent. Voluntary and participation. So when you say, for example, during sa intervention, no, or implementation of solution, maingon ang participant or ang estudyante, dili ko mo appeal na ni sir, o walay problema. Allow them, walay pagsanay, because that is free. Then informed consent. Parents, because they are minors, should know that you are conducting a research among their children. Informed consent na siya. No, because they are minors, then they are considered to be, let us say, people who could not fully decide on their own. No? So, appeal na siya. No? Next is right to privacy. Nagkanda kag interview. Damingon ng estudyante, sir, maulaw mong kundiri interview. Sir, tangan sa akong mga classmate. So, you need to have to observe a right to privacy. Pwede ba dito sa likod, no? Sa imong table siya ni mo interviewon. Or mayroon sa nga, sir, di lang ko mag-interview kay na akong classmate. So, dili ka pwede mag-conduct o may sige, dili na lang ko mag-conduct o kanang FGD. Kaya kanang FGD, di ba, gatuyok man ang estudyante, interviewon na yon. So, privacy. O, sige, tagsa-tagsa na lang. Okay. Next, right to anonymity. Ano ng anonymity? Meaning to say, that in your paper, you should not put there the real names of your students or pupils. Dapat ka itong mga pseudonames nila, mga alias, for example. No? Right to anonymity, dili pwede sa nilanlan. No? Kaya posible nga mugawas ang inyong research. May mga nilan dito nga, uy, kinide siya bata, mubo na score, no? Wag yun. Nahimo effective ang intervention kaniya, so mulawan siya. Next is right to confidentiality. What does it mean? You should not reveal the personal information of your participants or respondents, no? So, right to confidentiality na siya. Dili pwede nga may imong i-share sa imong classmates nga, uy, mo din profile sa akong mga estudyante. Dili na pwede. That is part of confidentiality. And we should consider that one. Next slide, please. Okay. Okay. This is now the researcher to researcher relationship. Example, daghan mo mukandak anang CBAR. Tagduha mo in a group or individual ba ni siya? Example. Then, of course, ang imo ang advisor, ay mo ang cooperating teacher mo, appeal man po na siya, no? As stated nga, co-author po. There is the so-called misleading ascription of authorship. Kung siya pasabot na. Kanang misleading ascription of authorship, pasabot na nga, imong gi-include ang names sa author, nga dili na siya author sa paper. Example, ikaw ang researcher, ana, as a student teacher. You should be the author. Ikaw gi-author, ana, kay ang imong cooperating teacher, pwede ba siya ma-author? Okay. Pwede siya ma-author if the cooperating teacher contributed substantially to the paper. Masa man ang substantial contribution? From the term itself, author, meaning to say, the cooperating teacher have written important parts in the paper. Nasa contribution sa pagsulat, interpretation, baka ha, sa pag-analyze sa data, nasa gisulat kay author man. No? Author man siya. So we should avoid that one, misleading ascription of authorship. Maingon panalitan, no? Teacher nga sa sir kay maingon ang principal nga i-appeal daw na ako siya sa akong paper kay principal mo daw siya. So that is misleading ascription. And that is leading now to the so-called misuse of authority or role. Maingon siya nga, i-appeal ko dag author ha, kaya ako ba yung advisor nimo? Ang advisor ba pwede may mong author? Pwede, basta doon na siya substantial contribution in the paper. What is that substantial contribution? Nakasulat siya dito, nitabang siya nimo interpret, nitabang siya nimo data gathering, nitabang ba siya nimo og unsaon pag-analyze ng mga themes, naghatag ba siya og idea unsaon pag-categorize ng themes, nagsulat ba siya dito? That's author. Okay? And we should also avoid so-called misuse of authority or role. So, mayroon din ito siya nga. Dayon mo kung sa naman lang ko nga kung idea nimo unsaon nimo na siya pag matod na imong paper. Pwede nimo sa ibutan dito sa acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge the invaluable contribution of this person in crafting this paper. So, we should also consider that ethical standard. The last one is plagiarism. Katungingon ninyo nga mag-AI sir o AI lagi mo, pero don't forget to ascribe the author. Don't forget to ascribe the author. Don't forget to put the names of the authors. Don't claim the paraphrased discussions as your own. Wa man ay problema mag-paraphrase ka, basta you acknowledge who is the main author of that. Okay? Next please. Okay. This is an example of ethical considerations in the paper. First, the researchers obtained written permission from the head of the central school in Bhutan. Then, they secured consent from classroom teachers and students' parents via email. Gibutan po niya kung asa ipagi. Face-to-face pa via email. Which included a brief explanation of the research objectives. The email assured that data collected would be solely for research purposes and would not affect teaching. Klaro na siya, that is to protect the welfare of our students, to avoid them from harm. No? Subsequently, verbal consent was obtained from the students as well. No? With all necessary permissions in place, data collection commenced. No? So, tanan nga mga permits na kinahanglan nato, tanang letters na kinahanglan nato, pag okay na, then we can start the data collection. Okay. So, di ba ang sa DepEd ganihan, mag-conduct yung bid mo o CBAR mula hosta sa results and instructions. Okay? So, the next slide, please. Okay, results and instructions. Next slide, please. Okay. Next. Okay. This is how writing the results. What to write in the results. What is the result? So it can be in the form of statements. Sa qualitative pa mo na sa mga themes. Or it could be tables. Sa quantitative pa katulad doon ay percentage, result ba sa t-test. Or it could be figures. graphs. That is the result part. No? So these are the questions to consider when presenting the results. What are the answers to the questions in the study? So ang atong presentation sa result, mutumong or mutumbok dito sa specific question na to. Doon na naman tayo tulo. So expected, doon na po tayo tulo ka results. Next, how can the findings be presented in a summary form? No? Third question, are there any problems which can reduce the validity of the findings? So consider po na nato, no? Kaya ang itong result usahay ka dili katuuhan, no? Mura man i-publicated ning result, oh. Actually maka-publicate naman kita, no? Sa mo na mo pagkibalo nga kanang score sa bata, score ba gid sa bata, basta mura mo gasulat-sulat ana. But we should always consider ethical standards. Okay? Let's now have the next slide, no? To have clear example. Okay. How about the discussions? What's discussion all about? So ang result, nag-iingon na to ganiha, is the presentation. Unsay resulta, unsay data. Okay? Ang discussions, this is what you call this summarized, explained, and interpreted results. No? It establishes more general trends and departing from individual observations and individual data. What are the questions to consider? First, what is the general meaning of the findings? Sa result, gipresent nato ang table, gipresent nato ang themes sa qualitative, gipresent nato ang figures. Okay? Ang question karon, which is part of the discussion, what's the meaning ato? Next question, how do the findings relate to the main assumptions or questions introduced in the report? Related ba ng findings dito? I-discuss nyo na siya. Or sometimes you also ask questions like, what theories, views, or opinions do these findings support or reject? May lahi-lagi ako na-obserbahan. O, you discuss nga, na-obserbahan, lahi siya sa mga nabasa ni mga literature. Okay? That is the discussion part. We will have a better presentation using the example. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. Okay. So, in summary of the results in discussion part, we have three considerations here. The first part is the presentation of the results. It could be statements, that is these are the themes in the qualitative paper. It could be table, it could be figures. The second part is the analysis. The third part is the interpretations of the results. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this is now the result. This is the presentation of the results. So, nakita ninyo figure siya. No? This is, let's say, figure 3. The most common types of disruptive behavior. Nakita na to sa figure, ang pinakataas or pinakataas og percentage na nakita or na-observe nga disruptive behavior is laughing and shouting aloud. Kasi I said it's the result part. Let's move to the next slide. Next slide, please. Okay. Diba, pag human na to present sa result, i-analyze man nato na siya as part of the discussion. So, saan din na siyang pag-analyze? Okay. Analysis of the results, no? Guides the reader on the components of the results that are interesting. Kung sa may pinaka-interesting part dito sa figure or table, meaning to say, ini-discuss na to, dili na kinanglan nga 50% of the blah blah, 50% of the blah. Imo tong ihinganlan tanan nga nasa figure. Dili na. Naman na siya sa figure, na po na siya sa table. Unsay interesting part sa table or figure, mo na ato ang i-pinpoint, no? Or emphasize sa analysis. Part of analysis man na siya. Next, breaks down the results into smaller or meaningful components. Next slide, please. Okay, sample. Okay na siya. Mo na yung analysis part. Based sa figure, the most frequent disruptive behavior was laughing or shouting, which reflects the disruptive influence of such actions on the student's learning and teacher's instruction. This finding supports previous research, which emphasizes that disruptions like shouting these significant distractions impacting students' ability to concentrate and understand the lesson. Analysis na niya, giyang gitanaw, kasi significant or mayroon ka bag o kasi interesting part nga result. Okay, next slide please. Further, include ang author. In particular, verbal disruptions often break the flow of teaching, causing frustrations for both teachers and students. So, evidence na. Talking with friends, 37.5%, and shifting between chairs, 28.1%. Okay, that's the activities. Next slide, please. Okay, interpretations of the results. What is interpretation of the result? That means to say, to give meaning sa imong analysis. This is necessarily subjective because the author gives his own interpretation or meaning to the results obtained by his own expert opinion. Uy, expert na dahil may ani, no? Kaya interpretation man na siya. So meaning to say, ang interpretation, di ba, is subjective, meaning this is your opinion, this is your own understanding of the results. So pwede ba na siya mag-question? Example, ikaw is student, nag-interpret ka sa result, para na ko mo na sa meaning, ana, pasabot na ni mo na. Question ba ka, ana? That is your subjective interpretation. Imo man na ka, interpretation man na siya. Because the presentation and analysis part is the objective portion. Di na siya malalis kay mo na yung gipakita sa figure. Pero kani interpretation, imo na siya kaugalingong paghatag og meaning. Okay. Pero mo question man ta, di ba? Kag mura po kag expert ang napaghatag sa imong meaning. So what should we do? Sometimes we cite certain authors or literature to support our interpretation. Para nimo mo ni siya meaning. So in order to strengthen your argument or your interpretation, mungita tag literature to support our claim, no, our opinion. That is interpretation. Let's proceed to the next slide, please, to have an example. Okay. Example, mingon siya. Based on the results, mingon siya. These behaviors often stem from a lack of engagement with the lesson, which aligns with the findings from J.T. et al. 2019. What does it mean? It means to say, na mo na iyang opinion, na these behaviors often stem from lack of engagement. Na may ingon po siya, nga pareho po sila idea or interpretation ni J.T. J.T. who noted that students are more likely to misbehave when they are uninterested or unable to follow the content. This suggests that improving lesson engagement and interaction could potentially mitigate such behaviors. So as you can see, pwede ta mo implement, mo interpret sa atuang findings, pero to better, no, or to strengthen our own interpretation, we can cite literature to support it. All right? So next slide, please. Okay. Next, no, you can also cite other authors also said here, these results reinforce the idea that classroom disruptions are often a reflection of underlying issues such as the lack of engagement and difficulty in understanding the lesson. So, iya ang interpretation. As you can see, doon na siya Igoletti et al. 2018, that is also to support his or her own, their own interpretation of the results. Right? So, let's proceed to the next slide. Conclusions. So, happy na gini. Ay, salamat. Conclusions na yun. Okay. Ingon sila. Okay, conclusion. Ano man ang conclusion? Sa unang panahon doon natin subject or logic, no? And we are looking at the conclusion, no? So conclusion is a general statement about the implications and findings to the framework. What is the general framework? If this is what the finding 1 says, mo nag-iingon sa finding 2, and this is what the finding 3 says, sa ito pa unsa man. If finding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 state this one, then the next discussion, that is your conclusion. Okay? So, pasabot ana, no? If mauni ang resulta, dayon, ba, no? Mauni resulta, sir, dayon, there is your conclusion. So, pasabot ato ana. So, let's proceed to the next slide, please, for an example. Okay, example na ingon siya dire. Ingon siya nga. The present study may have a direct contribution to the theoretical and practical implications concerning second or foreign language classroom management. This study showed that students' disruptive behavior can be reduced to a certain extent by implementing seating arrangements as an intervention strategy in the classroom. So meaning to say, pasabutan nga, based sa findings, naade ay positive result ang kagamit sa seating arrangement. So sa ato pa, or sa pa, then, sa may pasabutan na, muna yung gihingan lang di ay ang conclusion that the study showed that students disruptive can be reduced to a certain extent by implementing seating arrangement. Okay. Further, we have here the present findings are in line with the suggestions. Students' disruptive behavior is one of the major problems in education. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, recommendations. But we also included the implications. What's ang implications, sir? Implications refer to the potential impact or significance of the research findings. Meaning to say, significant ba yung findings na mahimo siyang policy sa school? Significant ba yung findings na pwede siya i-replicate or i-implement sa similar context sa anong eskwelahan na? So, what's the implication niya? Okay? So, recommendations, these are actionable steps based on the findings. Meaning to say, these are suggestions based on the results that can be applied, improved, or further investigated. Recommendation, makita po na to ang mga limitations sa paper nga na-observe. On the next slide, we can see there the example. Okay. It was stated in the paper. It stated rather in the paper. Based on the findings of this study, several implications and recommendations were discussed. First, students' disruptive behavior is likely to be an issue of classroom management in the context. However, there's a need to further study to confirm these findings. So, however, the recommendation na siya. Okay? Next slide, please. Third, ato na lang jump sa third. In addition to what previous studies have pointed out regarding seating arrangements as a crucial strategy to enhance students' participation, this study proposed the seating arrangement as a strategy to reduce students' disruptive behavior in the classroom. Okay. The last part of the CBAR will definitely be pointing to the references. So we usually use the APA format, no? And unsa man ang paggamit ng APA format, sir, no? So doon ay mga tools actually, no, nasa internet, doon ay mga freeware nga ato ray input ng link, no, sa PDF file or article nga atong gitan-aw, sila na may mo convert, no, into APA format or unsa nga format ang atong gusto makita. Sila na ma-italicize anang mga journal name or title ba sa book na anay mga freeware diyan sa internet, no, nga magamit ato. So the last part will be the references. Okay? Next slide, please. And these are my references as well, no? Muna po na ako ang mga references. Okay, mo po na references used in discussing this CBAR. So thank you very much, no? And I hope that you were able to get something out of our short discussions. And I hope that you will be excited, no, to conduct your CBAR. Excited in a sense that you will be not only be a researcher, but you will also be an implementer of the solution to your students. So dapat inspired na no, nga pagsulod pa lang sa classroom, ngita na kag problema. Uy, ngita na tag problema pag abot sa classroom, sir. Kung ngita na problema, mangutana operating teacher. Like, ma'am, unsa may kasagaran problema sa imong classroom kay atong sulbaron? Galuta pug kaayo sulbaron na dayon pagsulod lang, no? So you observe mo ni problema, then you find a solution by reading the internet, by reading the literature or available researches. Then you can make your plan and there, no? Malipay ta makita ko ma-improve ang performance sa ato ang estudyante. Kay no child left behind man atong principle ani. Because we are in action research, we are more on feminists, Marxists, and critical perspectives. Gusto na to equal, tanan nga bata mo katon. Okay, so thank you very much once again and good evening. So if you have questions, no, or I'm sorry, no, basig ko lang ta sa time, depende sa ato ang moderator, no, of this webinar. Ma'am Saler, no? Ma'am Saler Sabtiri. I believe she's raising her hand. Sorry, sir. Is this sir? Sorry, sir.
Sir Saler.
Sorry. Sir Saler Sabtiri. Yes, sir.
Salamat kayo, sir, sa imong expertise kay I really learn a lot. Salamat kayo, sir. And I know nga ganahan na jud ma-end ang tanan pero usara ako mo tanan, sir, kanang para makorek lang ko, sir. I am Salar Santiri from Siocon Campus, one of the instructors and nagahandle sa FS, sir. Correct me if I'm wrong, sir, sa ako ang pagdungog. Kanina you mentioned about respondents and participants and you explained the difference between the two and you said that usually sa qualitative, ginagamit ang participants and I mean, if nagakuha sa experimental like naga-pretest post-test ba, then respondents ang tawag. Correct me, sir, if I'm wrong para makaproceed ko sa akong pangutana, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that question, sir. Okay. Right. Na ako discuss at that part, no? Usually we use respondents in the quantitative generally, no? Quantitative research. It's because in quantitative research we usually float questionnaire or questionnaire checklist, and the role of the students will be to respond to the questionnaire. So generally, simple based on that concept, that's why they are called respondents. But you mentioned the subjects. I'm sorry, I did not mention that one. But in quasi-experimental, when we do the experiments, they are called the subjects. Wala na ako na-mention ganyan, Sir Salar. They will be called subjects. But in qualitative research, they will be called as participants because they do not only respond to the questionnaire, but they really participate. In participate in a sense nga, may nag-participate man po na sila sa parts, no? Sa mga let us say nag-participate po sila sa klase. So, in qualitative research, the degree of participation is higher, no? They are called participants because they are there, let us say interview, then after the interview you do the coding, the transcriptions, the coding, the creating of the thematic analysis, and after that sometimes you do the FGD, no, and the presentation of the results, whether or not you have you interpreted, no, the responses correctly based on their own understanding as well. Munang dugay ang ilang involvement sa research. Okay. I hope I answered your question, sir Salar.
Pwede ko mo-continue, sir?
Yes, sir.
Sige, kanang one of our instructors sa masters namo, sir, he shared that the difference of the two, then yun din yung share ko sa mga students ko. Then correct me if I'm wrong, sir. According to him, if survey questionnaires or questionnaires yung binibigyan natin sa mga bata, those kanang involved sa study na yon are called respondents. However, if the students involved like hindi questionnaires yung ina-answer nila, then they are called participants. Pero correct me, sir, para ma-share ko din ng tama sa mga students. Salamat po, sir.
Yes, sir. I listening to your discussion, sir. That is similar, no, to what we are also presenting here. And you're correct, sir. Example, no, your professor said that, let us say, floating or administration of the survey questionnaire. They're called respondents. That's right, sir. No, if you are using other tools like interview guide, for example, then there are participants of the research. You're correct in that part, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. I will now be turning the floor to our moderator. Yes, Sir Rostico Tulibas also ask, sir, paano pag mixed method po tayo, what term to use? Yeah. Mixed method, it could be okay, mixed method. Mixed method is also a design, no? And action research is also a design. And action research, murag maingon po kag mixed method po siya. Kay because action research is also using some of the elements in mixed method. Kay mo gamit man po siya og kanang data gathering technique like nasa katong quasi-experimental, no? Through multiple choice exam baka or mag-float ba sa questionnaire, checklist, or magamit ba siya interview to support the results, no? I want to state here for clarity. When we say mixed method, it means to say that we are answering one research question using different types of data. Okay, example. First question is asked in quantitative way, no, meaning mansiran siya using quantitative method. Example, first question. Is there a significant difference between the score or the mean score of the response of the subjects, or let us say students, before and after the intervention? Clearly, that's quantitative, no, and that is quasi-experimental. Mixed method. You will be interviewing now students, and you at the end of the interview, you do the transcriptions, you do the thematic analysis, and you go back again to your students. Balik mo kanila because you will be verifying whether or not your themes are sakto ba sila interpretation. So generally, because they are giving us a higher degree of participation, then they can be called as participants of the study. Next one is mixed method man siya. Meaning to say, katong data or katong data nga imong gikuha in terms of numbers or numerical, imong gidugangan og interview data that is qualitative just to answer one question. Meaning to say, that is mixed method because you use different types of data to answer that particular question. Sometimes ganito na gitawag documentary analysis. You extract ideas from the documents, that is policies sa school or manual, for example, to support or to explain nga anong dunay significant difference or wala ba ang ilang score. So different types of data na siya to answer one question, that is mixed method. Malibog to usahay katong gitawag na lang nga napo gitawag nga multi-method. Kana multi-method meaning to say lahi nga method ang atong gigamit sa paper to answer different questions as well. Example, question number 1, quantity ni siya. Question number 2, questionnaire tong gamiton. Question number 2, interview. Question number 3, quantity na po siya. Question number 4, quali na po siya. Dili na siya mixed method, no? That is multi-method. So I hope no that I answered the question of Sir Tulibas, no, clearly. Sir,
Thank you so much, Dr. John Jacinto, for your insights, and to our colleagues who also have raised their questions. Thank you. For our other, if we are hesitant to speak, you can also write your question on our chat box.
Ma'am Kat, may question sa chat box no kung recorded ba ni? So
The participants are only the instructors. So we have here a question from Ma'am Eloisa Bejerano. Good evening, ma'am. Sir, may I ask po if individual or by group ang action research sa ato ang FS students? Salamat. Can I, is Sir Dennis around? Okay, so since some of our program chair are no longer here, let me answer the question, Ma'am Eloise. What we are doing here in the main campus is, it is a by group activity. I mean, a by group requirement. So I think it depends on your campus or on your agreement. Sige, Ma'am Lois. Yes, Ma'am Janet Busico. You are acknowledged, ma'am.
Good evening, Ma'am Kat, and to the rest of the faculty around. During our orientation yesterday, it was discussed by Dr. Maghanoy that the C bar groupings, no, according to what Ma'am Kat have said, that's correct. The group will have two or three members,
Mm-mm.
but not more than three.
Mm-mm.
That's it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And also, Ma'am Lois, they have to be in the same program. So that's the. Okay, how about from our students? They have questions? Do you have anything that you'd like to be clarified of? So we have a question here from one of our students, John Baro. Good evening, sir. May I ask about the format of the C-bar paper? Like, will it still be like back in our thesis in third year? Like, will it still be in Times New Roman, 12 font size, margin, spacing, and also about citation and references? Will it still follow the APA 7th edition format? I was late to enter this meeting, so I apologize if this may have already been discussed earlier. So, Sir John?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ma'am Kat, and thank you, Sir Baro, no, for raising that concern as well. No, so for clarity, we will not be using the thesis format, which is very thick, no, chapters 1 to 5. We'll be using like an article type, no, paper as we have presented, because Dr. De Camara, no, when he invited me, he said that she said rather she invited me. She said rather that I will use the DepEd order number 16 series up to 2017, no, based on their research management guidelines. Although we included some of the significant parts sa atong presentation ganiha nga wala diadto sa ila ang sa DepEd order. So the DepEd order presents there an article type. Mura na siya og 10 pages gani, 10 pages nga na introduction or katong context and rationale, then research method, a research design, then doon ay results in discussion. Mura siyang IMRAD bitaw nga type, no? Mura siyang IMRAD nga type. So mga at least 10 pages, no, or more. Dili sa pareho katong thesis na to nga format. As to the font style such as Times New Roman, font size, I cannot answer that one, no, because it depends na dayon sa guidelines ng paggagamon sa mga program chairs, no, Ma'am Kat, kung unsay nyo ang gamiton, no, as to the presentation or format, no. Basta ang yaang we will be using the APA, no, 7th edition. But ang ya is katong article siya, no, dili katong baga. Momotong ganiya po during the opening part, even Dr. Recamara also stated ganiha nga dili na ta tong thesis style nga baga kaayo, no? So murag ikaduha ta nag thesis, no, kato nang murag article type nga tong gi-present ganiya murag naman to diya, Ma'am Kat, no, except lang kuhaon na to tong mga budget bitaw, budget unsa pa to kay sa DepEd naman to siya, dili man ni siya funded yung nga paper. Mag-send lang po ko ka, Ma'am Kat, katong final na nga rin mga list, including na katong part nga doon ay results in discussions, conclusions, then implications and recommendations. So thank you very much. I hope I answered your question, Sir Baro.
Okay. How about the others? This is now your chance to say your questions, no? While Sir John Wayne is still with us. So if you have any concerns, I guess there are no more questions. Well, I also believe that the C-bar was clearly discussed also by Dr. Jacinto. So once again, Sir John Wayne, thank you very much for accepting our invitation and for giving us this time to share about the important details about important details regarding CBAR, and also to all of our participants across the campuses, from Dipolog Campus, Katipunan, Tagbilisan, Siocon Campus, to our associate deans, Dr. Perla Velasco, Dr. Ermi Inoferio, Dr. Evangeline Manzanares, Dr. Seria Tabiliran. Thank you very much, ma'am and sir. To our faculty members as well, handling field study. Thank you very much for your time this evening, for really listening to the discussion. Thank you, Sir Wayne. So may I request all of you to please turn on your camera so that I can take pictures.
Ngit-ngit ba sa mga ma'am kat kay burn out?
Sige lang, sir. Sige,
Okay,
so
maklaro na kamay.
Sir, please turn on your cameras. Okay. Sige, and 1, 2, 3, bye. Okay. Okay, again, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. See you
Thank
next
you, ma'am
time.
Kat. Thank you,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
ma'am. Thank
Kaayo,
you.
sir. Salamat kaayo sa tanan.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Pod.
Thank you, Mary Faye.